Hi, and welcome to First Time Mums Chat. I'm Helen Thompson, baby massage instructor and early childhood educator, and I'm so glad you're here with me for the final episode of our Move, Play, Grow series. Over the past few episodes, we've explored how tummy time, crawling, cruising, and those magical first steps all support your baby's development in ways that go far beyond the physical. Now we're stepping into the toddler stage, where movement becomes bigger, bolder, and full of personality. Have you ever felt unsure how to help your toddler burn energy, focus their attention, or transition from chaos to calm without the meltdowns? If so, you're definitely not alone. Toddlers are constantly on the move. And in this episode, I'm sharing how you can use simple movement routines, rhythmic games, and even brain gym style activities to help support their growing brains and bodies. I'll tell you one of my favorite stories from my time in childcare, where a toddler who used to spin through tidy up time learned to turn movement into cooperation with just a little creativity and a lot of rhythm. We'll also explore how movement isn't something to control, it's something to celebrate, and how joining in instead of pushing back can transform your daily routines into moments of calm, connection, and joy. So if your toddler's bouncing off the walls or just starting to explore their independence, this episode is for you. Let's dive in. Welcome new mums and mums to be. Parenting can feel overwhelming, especially in today's fast-paced world where support may feel out of reach. I'm Helen Thompson, childcare educator and baby massage instructor, and I created First Time Mums Chat to be your companion through this incredible journey. Since 2021, I've been here to share practical, holistic insights designed to make those first months, especially from 4 weeks to 10 months, just a bit easier. Through this podcast, I help you feel more connected to your baby while easing ups and downs of early motherhood. Join me and a lineup of amazing experts as we tackle your biggest questions, share real stories and other advice to help you step confidently into motherhood. Motherhood can be challenging, but you don't have to do it alone. Let's dive in and embrace this journey together. Before we begin, please remember that this podcast is for informational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for medical advice. If you have any concerns about your or your baby's health, please consult a qualified medical professional. We've come such a long way in this series, watching your baby move from those first wiggles and tummy time efforts to cruising confidently around the room, and now we arrive at the toddler stage when movement becomes a way of life. It's not just about a milestone anymore. It's how they play, explore, express emotions, and even self-soothe. If your little one is between 1 and 3 years old, you'll know they rarely stay still for long. And that's a good thing. At this stage, movement isn't just physical energy. It's how toddlers learn how to self-regulate and express themselves. Every wiggle, bounce, and dance is part of their development. In this episode, I'll be sharing some fun, everyday ways to support your toddler's growth through movement. Think a get dressed dance in the morning, using a silly song, or turning cleanup into a playful routine, like putting one toy away with a bounce, or singing as you go. These small play actions can make a big difference in how your toddler moves through the day. So whether your toddler is leaping off the couch again, or just beginning to find a rhythm, this episode will give you ideas, encouragement, and gentle structure to help them thrive and help you enjoy the journey alongside them. Let me share one story that's always stuck with me. It's about dancing through these transitions. In one of the childcare centres I worked at, I remember a little toddler who absolutely loved music and movement. He was always so full of life, especially during playtime, and he'd get completely immersed in his own little world of blocks, toys, trucks, and bouncing energy. The challenge? Transitioning. Every time it came to tidy up time, he'd struggle. He wasn't misbehaving. He was just so deeply engaged in his game that stopping felt like a shock to the system. We had a tidy up song we'd use every day, something fun and upbeat. But instead of tidying, he just danced. He'd spin and twirl around the room like the song was his personal performance track. Honestly, it was adorable, but also tricky when you're trying to get things packed away. So I tried a different approach. Instead of asking him to stop and clean up, I joined him in the movement. I gave him a toy to carry and danced alongside him, gently encouraging him to place it in the box. Then we did it again. I turned the whole tidy up into a little movement game, and slowly he began to understand that the music wasn't just for dancing. It was a rhythm to help him shift gears. And something lovely happened. It encouraged the other children to join in his game too. His energy inspired the group, and what was once a tricky transition became easier and more enjoyable for everyone. And over time, it clicked. He still danced, of course, but he also began to associate that song with action. He was still moving, still expressing, but in a way that supported the group too. His energy actually encouraged the whole group to dance around and take action during tidy up time. It made the transition more fun, more collaborative, and a whole lot more enjoyable for everyone. Turning movement into connection reminds me how moments like these can turn movement into connection. And it's one of the reasons I wanted to share this story with you. It shows us that toddlers don't need us to stop the movement. They need us to join them in it. It's easy to get caught in a tug of war when a toddler resists change, especially during transitions like tidying up, getting dressed, or heading out the door. But when we bring rhythm, play, and a little creativity into those moments, we're not only guiding them, we're connecting with them in a language they understand. Movement. Are you feeling unsure or overwhelmed as you navigate life as a new mum? Or maybe you've discovered a trick that's made your journey easier and you'd love to share it with others. I'd love to hear your questions, thoughts, or even those precious parenting wins you've had. Head over to mybabymassage.net/message and mybabymassage.net/message and leave me a quick voice message. It's as easy as chatting with a friend. I personally listen to every message, and yours could even be featured in an upcoming episode to help other mums just like you. So take a moment and share your story. You never know who you might inspire. Another personal story I'd like to share with you. I remember one little girl I cared for who had such a vibrant, creative spirit, but she really struggled with transitions. Whether it was getting dressed, winding down after play, or shifting into a calmer activity, she'd often become frustrated or overwhelmed. It wasn't that she was misbehaving. She just didn't have the tools yet to regulate those big emotions. One day, after a particularly energetic morning of play, I could sense that her nervous system was overloaded. She was bouncing from one toy to another, not really engaging with anything, and getting increasingly upset every time something didn't go her way. I knew asking her to sit quietly right away just wasn't going to work. So instead of trying to calm things down with words, I invited her into a little movement game. I stood beside her and started gently marching on the spot, tapping my opposite knee with each hand. This is one of the cross-lateral movements I often draw from Brain Gym. In that moment, I just made it playful and light. To my delight, she joined in almost immediately. We started marching around the room together, tapping knees and making up a silly little chant to go along with it. I could see her body relax with every step. Her breathing slowed. Her movements became more focused and the tension started to melt away. Within a few minutes, we'd settled down together on the couch to look at a book. She was calm, present, and ready to connect. Not because I'd asked her to be, but because the rhythm and movement helped her get there on her own. It's moments like that that remind me just how powerful movement can be, especially when we use it not as a tool to control, but as a gentle invitation to reconnect. Reflecting on that moment reminds me how powerful these small rhythmic movements can be, not just for toddlers, but for us as well. It's not about following a strict routine. It's about finding those little patterns that help your child feel more centered, more connected, and more in control of their body. Sometimes it's marching and tapping opposite knees like we did in that story. Other times it might be drawing a slow figure 8 shape in the air together. That simple movement can be incredibly calming for a child who's overstimulated or having trouble focusing. You can also try gently tapping your toddler's shoulder while they cross their arms over their chest, or even clapping under one leg as you play a silly game. These cross-body movements might look like play, but they help support coordination, balance, and that important left-right brain connection. I still use some of these brain gym movements myself, like hookups when I need to center and calm, or brain buttons when I'm feeling foggy and need to refocus. Even the owl, which involves gently holding your shoulder and turning your head, can be a lovely way to release tension and reset during a busy day. There's also something called PACE, which stands for positive, active, clear, and energetic. It's really just a reminder that we can prepare our bodies and brains for learning or calming down with simple things like drinking water, crossing the midline, and pausing to breathe. It's not just for toddlers. I find it helpful too when I need to reset and come back to the moment. The best part, you don't need fancy equipment or a special setting. These small movements can happen in your lounge room, your kitchen, or anywhere your day takes you. If you've been enjoying First Time Mums Chat and finding value in the insights and advice I share every fortnight, I'd love your support to keep the podcast going. Creating this content takes time, effort, and resources, and your contribution can make a big difference. If you'd like to support the show, you can buy me a virtual coffee. It's quick, easy, and every little bit helps me continue bringing you helpful and inspiring episodes. Just head to mybabymassage.net/donate, mybabymassage.net/donate, and thank you so much for being part of this journey with me. There's another personal story I'd like to share with you, and I'm going to call it a little reset for both of us. There was one afternoon, not that long ago, when I'd had one of those mornings. You know the kind. We've been out and about. The toddler I was caring for had skipped his nap, and I could feel both of us starting to fray at the edges. He was whining, tossing toys instead of playing with them, and I'll admit I was feeling a little frazzled too. So instead of pushing through, I paused. I poured us both a drink of water and sat down beside him on the carpet. I gently rubbed under my collarbones and invited him to copy me. Just a quiet moment of touch and connection. Then we stood up and did a few slow marches, tapping opposite knees, and finished with simple hookups, crossing our arms and legs and breathing together. It only took a couple of minutes, but the change was amazing. His breathing slowed, his energy softened, and I find myself letting go of that edge I was holding to. We'd found our rhythm again. That little sequence, what Brain Gym calls pace, is something I come back to often. It helps us shift gears without needing words. It's not about doing every step perfectly. It's just a way to reconnect, breathe, and begin again. Here are some gentle takeaways you can both try this week. Try a reset moment using the pace approach. The next time things feel off track, whether your toddler's melting down or you're both frazzled, pause for a drink of water, do a few marches while tapping opposite knees, and take a moment to breathe together with your arms and legs crossed. It doesn't have to be perfect to help you both feel more grounded. Turn everyday routines into movement games. Add rhythm and play to your day by turning tasks into mini movement moments, like doing a get dressed dance, marching to the dinner table, or bouncing with each toy you pack away. This little ritual helps your toddler feel calm, involved, and connected to you. Use movement to meet your toddler where they're at. Instead of asking for stillness right away, try starting with a silly march, a lazy 8 drawn in the air, or tapping brain buttons before shifting into a quiet activity. Movement gives their body a chance to process and reset, especially after big emotions or high energy play. These are simple, playful exercises that were originally developed to support learning and focus things like crossing the midline, gentle stretches or movement patterns that help connect both sides of the brain. Think of it as a fun little brain and body reset that you can do together. It's movement with a purpose. And here's something I'd love to ask you as a gentle reflection as we wrap up. If there was one thing that you could change about life as a new parent, what would it be? You're welcome to message me over on Instagram. Thank you so much for being a part of the Move, Play, Grow series. If this is your first time listening or you've made it through all 5 episodes, I'm truly grateful you've joined me. If you found this helpful, I'd love if you could take a moment to follow the show, leave a rating or a review, or share the episode with another mum who might need encouragement today. Your support really helps other first-time mums find this podcast. Before we finish, I also want to let you know that in the next episode, we will be exploring something many mums quietly wrestle with: feeding. Hey mums, does your little one struggle with sleep? Are teething pains making them and you restless? I know how exhausting those sleepless nights can be. That's why I've created the Baby Massage Quick Start Guide, a simple 5-minute routine designed to soothe fussiness, relieve teething, discomfort, and help your baby sleep better. These easy-to-follow massage techniques fit right into your daily routine and help calm your baby fast. Get your free copy now at mybabymassage.net/massage. That's mybabymassage.net/massage. Let's bring peaceful nights and happy days to you and your baby. Whether you're breastfeeding, bottle feeding, or a bit of both, we'll gently unpack some of the pressures and offer support without guilt or judgment. It may be 1 episode, maybe 2. We'll see where it goes, but I hope you'll join me. If there's one thing I'd love you to take away from this series, it's this: movement isn't something we have to control. It's something we can celebrate. Every bounce, roll, wobble, and wriggle is your child's way of growing, exploring, and connecting with the world. And when you bring music, rhythm, and presence into those moments, you're doing more than supporting development. You're building trust, confidence, and joy. Thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode.